Hey, what's up friends? Welcome back to the videos. This is going to be a little bit of a different tech journalistic video. I'm going to be reading off of a script. It won't be as ad-libbed and vlog style, but I hope that you guys can still appreciate it. I'll be talking about the GoPro Hero 7 Black and if it's really a gimbal killer or not. So let's jump right into it. Today we're talking about the newly released GoPro 7 Black. There's no Hero version as of yet. It's just the GoPro Black, GoPro 7 Black. And if it's worth the purchase, the new hyper smooth stabilization and the hype. Is it a gimbal killer or not? Maybe in certain situations, but who's to say?
Wow, there's 5 like around your face.
So many mosquitoes. All right, this is bad because we're out in the swamp and I can't move. Since this is an outdoor channel, we'll be determining its usages in the world of action sports, particularly mountain biking, surfing, and trail going. Now, I'm not lucky enough to have tested one of these GoPro 7 Blacks, but I'm referencing the tech journalists out there that have been lucky enough to actually use it before its official release. So all of these sources are going to be very trusted. Essentially, we want to determine if it's actually a gimbal killer or if it's just a pipe dream. Here are the 4 categories that I've come up with. They aren't in any particular order, just the easiest grouping I could come up with. All right, we just transported back to the office. The mosquitoes on the trail were ridiculous and I couldn't really focus on engaging with you guys in the camera world over there. So we came back and now I'm not being attacked by a swarm of mosquitoes. And I just want to cover a small tidbit before we actually indulge ourselves. For most people, this might be their first action camera, and I don't think it needs to be compared to previous cameras because it's not applicable if you have no previous experience or influence. The image stabilization is beyond usable and currently the best on the market, hands down. And the audio seems to be a lot better in this version compared to the previous versions.
Now we'll switch over to the Hero 7 audio. The same thing, so go ahead and the wind's kind of just gusting in and out, but it's about the same wind speed for both of these right now.
Now, the most important category and the reason why all you guys are probably here is because of mountain biking. Do I think that it's going to replace a gimbal on the mountain bike trail? I'll say it right off the top, and I don't think so. There's some reasons why, but let's get into the actual list that I put together so that it's more clear for you. The stabilization is game-changing, but attention to the details will bring best results, and that's the same for all sorts of camera use, on the trail especially. You're probably here because you mountain bike and maybe you want to share your videos with friends and family. Without that fussy gimbal, the footage will mostly be useless until now. The footage isn't black and white. It seems pretty smooth, but all the examples are coincidentally on really smooth looking trails and jumps where the camera will do best. None of them looked like they were on windy trails or really rough terrain, but even in the examples that they had, I think that they are a huge step up. The Casey Neistat example is the best we have currently because it's actually chest mounted and on a pretty rocky terrain, so it looks like it's watchable video from those examples, and I'm definitely going to say that it's worth looking into. For me, I thought that the Hero 6 was passable for non-gimbal footage, so this is just the next level. I mean, it looks a lot better, and I actually spoke about if the Hero 7 dropped, I would definitely be looking into it because I knew that the stabilization was gonna have to be game-changing for them to make that new model. Will I be buying into the hype? I think so, but I will agree that this is not a gimbal killer. For the workhorse who wants to capture all the rides, I would say it's going to be worth it, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to get out on the trail without worrying about a bunch of stuff before riding. Again, this isn't a push and play scenario. Many other aspects need to go into capturing the best video on a ride, and the stabilization is only part of the puzzle. Again, that was the main topic and why you're probably here. But if you want me to go into deeper details on why it's important or why it's game-changing for mountain biking, just let me know and I'll do a separate video. I kind of wanted to cover all aspects of who might use this camera, so that's why I'm jumping around a little bit. For trail goers, that's the second category. This camera will be a huge improvement for hikers and outdoorsy people. I'm not talking mountain bikers because we're kind of in our own little extreme sports realm. If you're on the trail hiking, running, and roaming, and you want to share that experience, this will be your time to shine because the stabilization is going to be perfect in those really everyday kind of tasks. A lot of the times a simple walk can be ruined by shaky images, and the GoPro will manage that for you. A handheld gimbal was a necessary tool if you wanted to capture the trail adventure with usable footage, but now a simple grip will be the only companion you need. The image stabilization works wonders battling small jitters in bumpy terrain, and a careful hand will be the only added tool for this job to get dreamy video. Category number 3 is delegated to the filmmakers. Of course this camera will be an upgrade for filmmakers, but I don't think it's going to be a necessity, unless you're in the niche of action sports. If you're just using this action camera for backup or a different perspective, I don't think this camera is going to be right for you, especially if you already have the Hero 5 or the Hero 6. If you're already a serious filmmaker, you'll know all there is about tech and already have stabilized lenses and bodies, so I'm not sure why it would be necessary to downgrade your video quality and dynamic range for no gain in stabilization. Like I said, it's not really a suitable upgrade for filmmakers unless you're in that action sports setting. And the last and certainly not least category is for the everyday user. I think that the everyday social media star will definitely benefit a lot from this camera. That is, if you feel the need to move away from your smartphone, probably the Galaxy Note 9. The major competitor of this camera is already in your pocket, but I think the GoPro will still have its place. If you want the option of creating a real feeling camera for vlogs, the GoPro will definitely shine. Everything that I already covered will be the reason why you should use it if you're an everyday superstar. All the capabilities in this camera and the stabilization has really set it apart to allow for smooth capture, hassle-free. So the question you guys all want answered is it a gimbal killer? And I'll say it again, I don't think so. In the examples, it's easy to see that the footage still retains some of the bump and shake. I think it's leaps and bounds better than anything we have currently on the market, and if you're wanting to share your trail rides or any other action-packed footage without a gimbal, this is definitely your best bet. The gimbal will no doubt always add a smoothness that is unmatched because of its mechanical advantage, but it's all a matter of sacrifice with the gimbal or the GoPro. It just all depends on what you're willing to sacrifice. If you want to ride more without lugging a ton of extras with you, this will be the camera. If you want that surreal, buttery smooth capture, you'll need the gimbal. But hear me out. I think that the hyper smooth stabilization in the GoPro Hero 7 is right in the Goldilocks zone because it's smooth enough to allow easy viewing, but it has a sense of action with its small imperfections. And I think that that's going to add a really cool sense of immersion when sharing your stories. But only time will tell. In conclusion, I'm really thinking that this is going to be a game changer, and we'll be seeing it in the number of users and the number of units that GoPro actually sells. Will I actually be buying into the hype? I guess you'll just have to subscribe to find out. Oh, and GoPro is running this really cool trade-in deal where you could take any of your old digital cameras that had like an MSRP of $100 or more and trade it in for $100 off of the camera price on the Hero 7. So that's something to really check out and take note of. Go check them out and share this video if it helped you out. Get out there and create your own adventure and spread some positivity. I'll see you on the next one.